Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, we're going to be breaking down some roster mania news. It's still so dry out here for news, but there is kind of like a blockbuster move that could be on the horizon. Seems unlikely, but Brock and I will touch on that as well as a couple other things. And then we're going to do a build a player CDL draft. It's going to be just a quick one. We're going to do a current player and then an all time player. Um, just picking like their gun skill, movement, IQ, like building a good pro on a few categories. Probably going to be a shorter episode today. Probably see some shorter episodes throughout the offseason. We still want to get content out to you, but obviously for the next month or so until the game comes out and this roster mania is this dry, going to be a little bit shorter episodes, probably well under an hour, maybe more around the half an hour mark. If you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Brock, how you doing today?
Oh, doing pretty good on this fine Monday, Waiting for more roster news like we all are and,
Dude.
getting excited into it.
Yeah, like there is just nothing. Like there's like a little nugget of a rumor that gets dropped here and like a little thing here, but there's no like definitive news. Like we're not like, oh, this team announced their roster, this team announced they picked up a player. We're just like sitting here and everybody is like just standing, guns drawn, staring at each other, waiting for somebody to make a move. It's like you got Phase probably locked in, you got Optic locked in. We thought, New York would probably be locked in. Then, Sib left, and now maybe some more moving pieces. Thought maybe Toronto would stay locked in. Doesn't seem like that's the case. So really, it seems like we got the two teams locked in. And then, I guess we can talk about. Apparently, you got Boston locked in. I guess they're
Yeah.
probably running it back with their roster from World Cup, which was not all that good. It was what Wake, Cammy, Purge, and Snoopy.
Yeah. Just trying to save money there.
Yeah, they are definitely just in a money saving mode there because obviously we know they're struggling as an org. It looked like they were like getting disbanded or something and like losing their funding, and now here they are potentially back in the CDL this year, and it just that roster will not move me. It won't be very good. Most likely, it'll probably be a bottom four team. Um, So yeah, that's it's not a big mover for me, but sounds like Boston's sticking, Brock. I guess we can just touch on that one. I'm assuming you're also probably not moved by that.
Yeah, not really moved at all.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
What did I see too? Oh yeah, I guess before we jump into some of the other roster mania stuff too, we could talk about the Shifty stuff. Obviously, Shifty, a Warzone pro. He's on Team Falcons. They dominate everything. Him, Biffle, and I honestly forget their last player. I watch no Warzone. I know you don't either.
Yeah.
Um,
I know Shifty and Biffle a little bit, but
yeah,
not.
I forget who their teammate is, but I'm looking at him right now and I couldn't tell you. I know what Biffle looks like just because of like when he was 1v1ing some pros. I just like you and I are both admittedly ignorant. We don't enjoy Warzone, don't enjoy watching it. It's just not our thing. But I
Yeah.
saw Shifty saying he could replace Pred on Optic. A little insane.
A little bit.
Like I understand these guys are mechanically skilled at Call of Duty, but obviously it's a very different game. And there's that stupid debate about Warzone and CDL is going on again. Like it does, it seems like every offseason or every so often, like that debate starts on Twitter. It's the dumbest thing ever. Like you saw they were saying like a team of like shottzyy, Hydra, and Simp or whatever. If they like went to Warzone, he was like they'd be getting run, they'd be bottom of the league. That is just objectively not true. If Simp Hydra and shottzyy or whoever Simp Hydra sell, like you pick three amazing players in the CDL and they had like a month to just like grind, they would go in and they would do very well.
They would definitely within the week figure it out and definitely dominate because they got the gun skill and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, they're the best Call of Duty players in the world. The best Call of Duty players in the world are in the CDL, not in Warzone. That's just a fact.
Yep.
Maybe there are some guys in Warzone that could make it in the CDL, but like overall, the average player, the best players are in the CDL. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Like maybe a couple of these guys. Like I've seen Biffle shoot. He's got obviously a lot of talent. I feel like if he pursued a career in the CDL, he could definitely make it. But
Mhm. Yeah, just
every
it's like
pretty
too
much every
different.
CDL pro, yeah, pretty much every CDL pro could probably make it for the most part, except maybe like the bottom guys. Pretty much every CDL pro can make it in Warzone, and there are probably very few Warzone pros that could make it in the CDL.
Yep. Agreed.
And I saw a clip of like Scump warming up against like the Warzone pros or something. He was dropping multiple nukes. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
Scump's not even a current pro player.
retired pro doing that, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's very funny.
Yep.
I guess other non-roster mania new stuff, Brock, I saw this and it's just something I wanted to mention because I thought it was funny. Um, where is it here? Vince Zampella, the head of Battlefield at EA, told IGN that he thinks Battlefield can outsell Call of Duty. He This is a quote from him. I think absolutely it can. I mean, is that what we're going for? I mean, not directly, but always. We're not looking to take down Call of Duty. We're making something that's different and we're making something that's us. But yeah, it definitely has the possibility. Um, and then, as a note here from Charlie Intel, he said Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, one of the lowest selling CODs of all time, outsold Battlefield 1 in 2016. And I remember Battlefield 1 being a pretty hyped up game. Um, that is just funny. Like, Battlefield could the funny thing is, like, Battlefield could make a game that's objectively better than Call of Duty, and it still would get just dwarfed in sales.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter because he's got the name.
Like, I don't think people understand that. Like, they hear that and they're like, "Well, Battlefield made a better game." That's not the point. Like, Call of Duty is just a bigger brand. It's more popular. I don't see a world where Battlefield. I mean, I remember Battlefield, like Bad Company 2 and like Battlefield 3 and like those games being like decently popular when we were younger, but like
Mhm,
still they were like never anywhere close to Call of Duty. I remember like playing Battlefield Bad Company 2 and it was pretty fun. I remember playing Battlefield 3 and I had a pretty good amount of fun with it. With like our friends when we were in like elementary school. And I do remember, like, Battlefield Hardline. I know people, like, hate that game, but I kinda liked it just because it was like Call of Duty. It was, like, the most Call of Duty like Battlefield.
yeah.
So I kind of enjoyed that, but I mean, overall, yeah, like, Battlefield will never outsell COD, and I'm pretty sure, like, I didn't play it at all, but I'm pretty sure, like, isn't the last Battlefield, like, historically bad?
I mean, I'm not sure, but probably.
I thought I forget what it was called, Battlefield 1? Was it Battlefield 1 2016? No, there has to be a new one since then. It's like
Yeah,
I don't remember. I just remember people saying that the last Battlefield, like, was, like, broken.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's EA. I mean, I've played enough Madden and FIFA and all those to know that they like to break their games.
Yeah, I've only played Battlefield like maybe once or twice in my life, and from what I played, I did not enjoy it.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different. Like if you're a Call of Duty player or like an arcade shooter that likes like the fast pace, like constantly spawning in action, like a lot of like the Battlefield maps are like giant, like ground war type style where they're massive and you're maybe not getting in a ton of engagements. I remember like I was always interested in sniping because I remember whatever Battlefield I played when I was a kid, the sniping you had to like judge bullet drop and stuff, and it was always like pretty hard to like hit super long range shots.
Mhm.
But it's definitely Battlefield. At least the ones that I played were definitely more of like a realism type like warfare game, which definitely there is definitely a like a market for that. Like there are people that really enjoy
Yep.
like the realism aspect. And if that's what you enjoy, there's nothing wrong with it. Like you should play what you enjoy, but Battlefield just like I feel like there are a lot more people interested in the arcade action type shooter that Call of Duty is as compared uh to like that realism type warfare that Battlefield entails.
Yeah.
All right, Brock. Roster news. I guess I mean the bomb was dropped on the timeline.
It was indeed.
Uh, it was from Breaking Point. They went ahead and said that LAT is exploring potentially bringing on basically a super team that would
Mhm.
include Ghosty currently on their team, but then have three new players, which would be Scrap, Hydra, and Envoy. So Envoy obviously returning. Um, Basically, they said what we know is Hydra and Scrap are looking to team up. The budget for the 100T super team would be challenging and require multiple buyouts. Other deals can still happen.
Mhm.
I guess obviously your initial thoughts on the team. It's pretty hard not to like it. I mean, a team with Hydra and Scrap, pretty much any other teammates, that team is still looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's looking like, basically Toronto just a little bit better
Yeah,
player for player.
Toronto, except Kleenex turns into Hydra, which is an obvious upgrade, and
Yep.
then Insight turns into Ghosty, which is also an obvious upgrade.
Yep.
And also, Hydra and Scrap together is the scariest slaying duo, like maybe since like Prime T2P, Prime Tiny Terrors.
Yeah, if they come apart to the team, and that'll be very challenging for a lot of teams.
I mean, the matchups, the square ups between this team and FaZe and this team and Optic. Oh my god, that's absolute cinema. That is going to be incredibly fun to watch if this team does form.
Mhm. Definitely.
However, our boy Jake Maverick, he'd be extremely happy. Obviously, a big LAT fan. I saw him tweeting about it. It was funny. He posted like a poll. of like where will Scrap's next team be, and he had like like Toronto, wherever, like Toronto C9, and then he had like other and LAT on there, and like Caesar, his co-host on his podcast, was roasting him for putting LAT on there. And then like a few hours later, this tweet came out and he was like, "Hey, like bump or whatever." And he like
Yeah.
he reposted that. That was funny because obviously like LAT seemed like there was no way that Scrap was ever going there, especially with the way that they cut their budget. But I guess that's the big talking point, Brock. It seems unrealistic. I guess, who knows? Maybe LAT is changing their philosophy, but it seems unrealistic to me that this team could form because we know LAT was paying their world championship roster a lot and they were losing a ton of money. So they cut the budget to, a cheaper team last year. I have to believe that this team would be more expensive than the world championship team, because I feel like Hydra and Scrap probably end up on the free market as the two highest paid players. Ghost is
Yep.
probably going to get a raise, and Envoy is a very valued asset. Like he is going to fetch a lot in the open market. Like if Envoy is your cheapest player, he's a pretty expensive cheapest player.
Yeah. He's very valued, and LAT fans love him.
Yeah, that it would be a very welcome return for the LAT fans, I'm sure.
Yeah. I wonder if they all can get there, if they all like have to take a little pay cut to play together. If they'll all like do it.
I feel like depending on what it is, they might be willing to. Like if it's a small pay cut, they may like look at it and like weigh their other option. Like, okay, my other option is on this team for this much more, but how much of a chance do I have to win? Because like it does factor in if you believe that you can win half the events or damn near every event with this team, it almost makes it more worth it to take the slight,
Yep.
salary and bet on yourself, the salary decrease and bet on yourself because in the long run, if you take a big salary and join a worse team, don't win it all, but you take a slightly smaller salary, join a better team, and win a bunch, you're going to make more money because of the prize money. It's just you have to bet on yourself because you never can guarantee that prize money.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I feel like if your players like Scrap and Hydra, you probably have a lot more big deals coming because you are a top player. So you can maybe bet on yourself for a year, take a little less to try to just win a bunch, build a legacy, get a lot of prize money, all that.
Yeah. Most definitely. So excited to see more come out of this, and hopefully something can get done or close to it.
Yeah. I mean, the top comment on that post is Merc saying, the team that spent no money and got top four are now going to spend all the money after they didn't resign their world championship core. Shout out to the Nate Shot subscribers. Breaking Point said, keyword here is exploring. This time would be, this team would, what is this? This would be a team worth signing. Jesus, I can't read. Proven championship players plus Dan. Again, budget would be challenging, making this deal less likely. Some dude responded and said, I'm exploring my options with Margot Robbie. I thought that was funny. Um,
I mean,
that's pretty
yeah.
funny.
Also, I was gonna say, since they did go for like a cheap team this year, and they did pretty good in the events and made some money at champs too. Definitely, like maybe a
Yeah.
point to reason
Okay.
why they're maybe going for this option.
Okay, but like to me, Brock, well, let's propose this. Like, obviously, like this team, they're probably going to lose money on it this year, no doubt if they pay this, because like the buyouts on Hydra and Scrap will be insane. Yeah, their
Yeah.
salaries will be insane. So like they're going to lose money if they want these players. They're going to have to accept that they're going to lose money. However, okay, let's say like the budget is super tight. You need to find ways to like save a little money. Do you think like Scrap and Hydra would be willing to play with Joe Deceives instead of Envoy if it means that they get their money and they still get to play with Ghosty? Because like if I'm LAT and I need to cut corners and like obviously where you cut corners is clearly Envoy among these
Yep.
four. Like
Hmm.
Ghosty is like your guy. You got him locked in. He's loved by the fans. He's looking like he's an up and coming superstar. Maybe he hasn't even hit his peak yet. He could keep getting better. I feel like Envoy's hit his peak. I feel like Envoy's still a really good player, but he's older than Ghosty. Like I feel like he's hit his peak. I can't really see Envoy getting much better. He's still an extremely good player, but
Yeah.
Ghosty has some more untapped potential there. And then obviously Scrap and Hydra are like the two guys, like they're the most important in this entire equation. I'd put probably Hydra number one and then Scraps right there with him. I mean, they might be the two best players in the league.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, Jodeci is from. I mean, we both love him. We both think he's a great player. I don't see why, but I guess the pros have different opinions.
I think pros think that he's pretty damn good though. Like I think pros think that Jodeci is pretty good. It's just a matter of like Scrap and Hydra like him enough to be willing to potentially take that pay cut, switch teams, go to this team to play with Joe. I don't see why they wouldn't, but maybe, maybe Scrap does feel that highly about Envoy and wants to play with him.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know why they wouldn't. Envoy is an incredible player. I mean, you're lucky to have him on a team. He brings a lot to a team. Communication. He's a good gun skill. Like he's a good player. That also seems to be a good teammate. Good communication. Like he seems to be everything you want in a teammate.
Mhm. Yep.
Like I don't know. I guess to me that's where you cut corners. The other three are pretty much pivotal, but if it saves him enough budget to just keep Joe on the cheap contract he signed last year, and not because I'm assuming they have to buy out Envoy and then pay him a lot more than Joe. So hundreds of thousands of dollars probably that they're using up
Yeah, oh,
on
yeah.
Envoy.
Yeah. A lot of money if this does take place, this team.
Then Brock, I guess. I mean, if Kremp and Nasty are dropped from LAT, like obviously if this roster happens, they're clearly going to be dropped. But this roster with the financials is definitely not a guarantee. It could be just LAT running it back from last year. That wouldn't be shocking.
Mhm.
But if Kremp and Nasty are dropped from LAT, it sounds like as of now they'll be headed to Surge to play with O4 and Abuza. That's the rumor out there. However, if this team does form on LAT, do you agree with me? Why are they not targeting Joe over Kremp? To me, it seems like Nasty and Abuza. Sure, I'm a fan of that AR duo. I can get behind that. But if Kremp and Joe are the subs I'm picking between, like if I'm looking at the LAT team and I want to keep like a duo together from that team, to
Mhm.
keep the chemistry up, I'm getting Joe Deceives 100% over Kremp. That is not even a question.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you there. Joe's just, just better and he's more consistent.
Joe's a better player than Kremp, and there's no doubt in my mind.
Yep. And
I
Joe,
think.
I
Go ahead.
I'll say Joe, he does perform under the bright lights.
Absolutely, and I do think that rumor of Kremp and Nasty going there was before the rumor came out about the Envoy Scrap Hydra joining. So that is probably the case of why.
Mhm.
But if I'm Seattle with how all the top players are still like kind of just like bunching up onto these top few teams. If I come out of the offseason with O4 and Abuza still on my team, who are both very good developing players, and I add like Nasty and Joe, another really good blossoming player in Joe, and another really good player, I think, in Nasty, I would honestly be really happy with my offseason.
Yeah.
Like a
Mhm.
young sub duo of O4 and Joe, there's a lot of potential there, and a young AR duo in Nasty and Abuza, there's a lot of potential. Like that's a team that I could see being a consistent top six all year, and being like an LAT from this year where they're a little more consistent early in the year than LAT, but like come down to champs time, like they could make a shock top four, top three run or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Um, Brock, I guess the last question before we do our little draft and wrap this one up. Where do you go from here if you're C9? Like if you lose Hydra to Toronto to go play with Scrap, or if he goes to LAT to play with Scrap, like if you don't end up with Scrap and Hydra on your team in C9, like let's assume there's a world where they do leave for LAT, that rumor is true.
Yep.
Where do you go? You bottled your first offseason.
Uh-huh.
You had control of Hydra, the best player, probably. I mean, you can make arguments for other people, but he's definitely like top two, top three in the entire league. Maybe the best asset in the entire league. You have Hydra just sitting there. He's so good. Like the talent is probably number one in the league. And you bottle it and lose him. And not only that, you also lose Sib. You drop Sib off the roster.
He's
You
not coming
you lose,
back.
yeah, you lose Hydra. Sib doesn't sound like from all the stuff that's gone back and forth. Doesn't sound like he's coming back. You're left with Skies and Kismet. Do you keep those 2 and build around them? Do you just wipe it clean?
I think you try and you build around those 2 and see what you can find out there.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like I just those 2 as like the building blocks of your team don't move me. Those are players that like I feel like they fit in perfectly with like the other superstars they're playing with, like with Sib and Hydra, when those 2 can just go crazy. Skies can just, do the dirty work as an AR. Kismet can do the dirty work with a superstar SMG. Like, I feel like Kismet found his perfect role next to Hydra because he's so good at enabling Hydra and enabling another superstar. They're
Mhm.
not getting like if they lose Hydra and like with the free agents available, they're not getting another superstar SMG. I mean, it's pretty obvious. We don't even have to say it, but they're obviously not getting somebody Hydra's caliber,
Yeah.
but they're not even getting like a star SMG because there really is a lack of them out there. I mean, like you get Nero or something, maybe. And like Nero's a very good player, but he's nowhere near Hydra.
Yeah. it just you kind of just in shambles at that point.
Yeah, like if you're this is your first entry into the CDL and you found a way to bottle losing Sib and Hydra off the rip and kept Skies and Kismet. I mean, if anybody watched last year, Kismet was abysmal at champs. And Skies had some really bad moments at champs, and those were their two clear worst players. Like Sib and Hydra were clearly their best players. So if you come out of the offseason, like if you're a C9 fan and you went into the offseason with like the team Skies, Sib, Kismet, Hydra, and you come out with only Skies and like imagine like we have a friend that's a NYSL/C9 fan. Imagine just like telling a fan of that team before the offseason, like they have no context of anything else that happens, and you tell them, "Hey, you're going to come out of the offseason with Skies and Kismet. Well, where Hydra and Sib? Oh, you drop them.
Hmm.
You let them go to, or maybe not drop because they're not dropping them. They're probably gonna sell the contracts, buyouts. But like, just imagine telling a C9 fan, "Hey, you're going to come out of this offseason with Skies and Kismet. And they have no context. Like that'd be mind blowing,
Hmm. That just what a bottle that would be.
insane." All right, Brock. Our last thing, build a CDL player draft. We're gonna do one current, one all time. Just go through it quickly. Um, so we were gonna do a little more categories, but we decided let's keep it simple. We're just gonna do gun skill, movement, IQ. You can draft them in any order. So like you could pick gun skill first, I could pick IQ first. We're gonna do one current first, like I said, and then one all time. I will say current, they have to be like currently active in the CDL. Like they can't like, I guess, like, Clay would count for current because he's not technically retired yet or anything. Um,
Okay.
the other stipulation, we can't draft the same player twice. So, like, obviously, it's obvious both of us can't take, like, Hydra for gun skill, but if you take Hydra's gun skill, I can't take Hydra for anything else. So we can't have Hydra in different categories. Like, once a
Okay.
player, any piece of them is taken, can't take another one. So we're gonna run through that quick and then honestly wrap it up here. It's off season time. Shorter
And
episodes.
all time is retired players. I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're gonna
Only.
do all time, so you can't pick like Hydra in both categories. All
Okay.
time is strictly players that are retired.
All right.
All right, so I'll give you first pick. Current players, gun skill, movement, IQ. You can pick any category. Who you going with first overall, and what category?
I'm going movement, and it's kind of no brainer. I'm going shottzyy.
Not gonna lie, I thought you might pick that first because it's a good pick. That was probably gonna be my first pick. I think I was gonna go shottzy movement. Um,
Yep.
The guy is insane. It's an obvious first pick. I mean, there are some other ones. I guess I mean that means I'll save movement.
Yep.
Since you can't take it, I'm gonna go ahead with. I feel like I can't give you just the most OP player already. I'm just gonna go current gun skill. I want to go a Beezy. He's got a crazy shot. Dashy is up there. Simp. The guy just wins like so many fights. I'm just taking Hydra gun skill.
Does.
There's a lot of good picks. Like I said, Dashy, Simp, Beezy. A Beezy shot is crazy, and people seem to not give him credit sometimes. But I'm going Hydra's gun skill. The guy is just unreal.
All right. All right. I'm gonna go IQ. Yeah, I'm gonna go Kenny.
Oh, you guys, I guess I should have just taken
Yeah.
first pick. You got like my dream draft. You got Kenny and IQ. Um, I guess that means I should take movement here. I guess I can take anything. I guess because you already have movement and IQ. We're not really rivaling each other here. I don't know. I Hydra was the other guy for movement.
Hmm.
I'm honestly trying like I'm trying to think who the best option was because like Hydra and shottzyy to me were movement. So maybe I played this wrong. I should have just taken Hydra for movement.
Trying to think who has like crazy movement other than like those two.
I know I might have played this wrong. Maybe I should have saved Hydra for movement because like those are like the two best movement guys to me.
I mean, depending on like if there's a heady in front of you, Celium.
Yeah, yeah. He's more like ability to stay alive. I don't necessarily like his movement around the map. I feel like a
Yeah.
Beezy moves pretty smooth. I'm gonna take a Beezy on like the way he moves and like the way he gets himself into positions and
Hmm.
like his movement more in the sense of like his aggression. Like he always finds himself just like getting in people's face. Like he always finds a route where he's like in your face and like you're just like, how did he get here? Like how is he just like straight up challenging everything? Because I feel like a Beezy's movement to like get in and chow and just like always be getting in engagements with the Hydra Gunny, I feel like that'd be an insanely annoying player to deal with because the BZ's already almost got the best gun skill, and now you even bump it up a little bit and give him Hydra's gun skill. The way he's able to get in people's faces, it'd be insane.
Yeah, I like it. All right, my gun skill. You took Hydra, probably number one. I'm gonna go gun skill. I'm gonna go simp.
Okay, I like it. Can't go wrong. Dashy, another good pick that we mentioned there. Obviously, a BZ simp. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who do I want to go with, Brock?
IQ.
Or IQ? I need to go first in the all time because you screwed up my draft because I wanted simp IQ,
Yeah,
and now you just took simp's gun skill, so that means I can't take his IQ. Yeah, you really. I mean, I think you won. The first pick advantage really helped you here. Oh man. I guess he's still a current pro. I guess I'll just go with Clay. I
I like it.
feel like Clay's been around forever, seen everything. I feel like he's got a pretty good knowledge of the game. I think you won that draft. I mean, Simp Hydra, I think pretty much toss up. I think honestly, gun skill wise, I might give a slight edge to Hydra, but you could argue Simp easily. I give you movement. Clearly, you got the best movement player, shottzyy. That's no doubt. And I'm biased, so I give you IQ with Kenny, but I think Clay is formidable. But I definitely think you won that draft.
I like both the team. I like both of them.
I mean, yeah, you definitely can't go wrong. A player with Hydra's gun skill, BZ's movement, and Clay's IQ is an extremely good player. But I don't know, just yours just sounds better. Simp's gun skill, Shotzi's movement, Kenny's IQ. That just sounds better. Um, ben Brock, all time, same three categories. I'll go first for this one.
Yep.
I don't know what since you can't do current players. I unless I'm blanking, like I don't know if there's an obvious movement pick.
I
Since Shotzi's not included. I mean, I
I'm
have
trying to
somebody
think
in
of
mind,
anything
but people might
cool.
think it's faded.
Movement. Yeah, for like all time.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some good picks for like IQ and stuff, but
Yeah,
I guess I don't know. I still think overall, like some of the best gunny I've ever seen, especially early on. I'm gonna go with Scump gun skill.
I like it.
Just give me the gunny and we'll figure out the rest. There's plenty of good IQ players. Movement's the one that I'm really like. I don't know where to go.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna go IQ and I'm gonna go Crimsix.
Yeah, that was a pretty obvious early choice. I feel like that was one of the obvious early picks. Um, Man, I honestly just I should take movement obviously since you took IQ, but I just don't know where to go. Movement, but you know what's weird? What's coming to mind? Like I remember just like Karma always just being able to finesse in position.
Mm-hmm.
I could get weird and be like Nagafen. I remember his routes in on like Redwood and stuff. He always just had some crazy routes. Shotzzy is obviously I don't know. Nagafen and Jetpacks was like crazy.
Yeah.
I like Huke and like AW. He was moving kind of different. Huke's obviously current though.
Mm-hmm.
Shotzi's movement is just so insane.
I don't really have. I really can't think of a movement player in the old days.
I know it's like Karma just keeps coming to mind because I feel like Karma always like just found a way to finesse, but like it's not like cracked movement. I don't know since it does kind of deal with movement, kind of deals with positioning. I'm gonna take Karma. Actually, fuck, I kind of want to take Karma for IQ. No, I'm gonna do something funny for IQ. So I'm taking Karma for movement because I think Naga is actually kind of a funny and fun shout out because his movement was crazy in Jetpack games. But I'm gonna say Karma, for movement because it's also dealing movement in a way. In this case, is almost IQ like because I'm talking kind of positioning and stuff. And I feel like Karma always was so fluid around the map in Jetpack. So I'm gonna take Karma for that.
Mm, I like it. All right, I'm gonna go gun skill next, and I will might as well just put formal up there.
Yeah, that's a good pick. You're kind of I don't know. You're kind of beating me in these drafts. I went Scump just because I was like, Scump, but yeah, formal for the gun skill might be number one ever. That's a good pick. And I'm going memes for the IQ Brock. It's not really memes because he's actually really smart, but I'm saying Akes. I don't
Like
want the
it.
toxicity that comes with this communication, but I want the IQ on him because whether you like Hecz or not, he was an extremely smart COD pro when he tried.
Yep.
Like, extremely smart.
It sure was.
Not gonna lie, Brock. I think you beat me. I think you beat me in these drafts. Who do you got for movement?
Movement. I'm gonna go for some reason. This when I thought of movement for retired players, I don't know. If this is maybe the correct answer, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. I'm gonna go apathy for movement.
I feel like Apathy kind of had burger movement sometime, but he had a great shot. I like it for the memes. I feel like Apathy kind of had burger movement a lot of times, but the dude's shot was so good that it bailed him out.
Yeah, I have to agree there, but I'm just gonna go apathy for the
Yeah,
memes.
yeah, whatever. I do think overall, I mean, I don't know though. Scump, gun skill, karma, movement, Hecz IQ. That's a damn good player.
Yeah.
But the formal gun skill, crim IQ is tough to beat. I mean, formal gun skill, crim IQ is basically like ghost crim.
Yeah.
um,
I
yeah,
like I like both teams.
yeah, it's pretty. I mean, when you're picking from this limited two people, just picking building a pro all time, like it's pretty hard to have a bad pro. These four pros would all be some of the all time greats if they had these tools put together.
Yep.
All right, Brock, that's gonna do it for this one. You and I are about to go head out, watch the Falcons game, get some food.
Big dub
Um,
incoming.
hopefully, that's gonna do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We will be back next week with another probably shorter episode, maybe doing something fun like that, like a draft or something. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.